The headlines. Parliamentary Workers Association threatened to shut down State Assembly over autonomy. 108 stranded Nigerians return from Niger. Price of locally produced rice drops in Taraba State. And from the international scene, Israel increases strikes on Gaza as 2 more hostages are freed. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the details. The National Assembly workers and that of the 36 state houses of assembly have threatened to shut down the parliament until their demands on autonomy for the legislative arm of the government is granted. The workers, under the auspices of Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, are demanding that the state governors should commence immediate implementation of financial autonomy for state assemblies in line with the 1999 Constitution. In separate letters sent to the chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, chairman, Forum of Speakers, and the Department of State Services, the DSS, the workers explained that they had earlier issued a 21-day strike notice. The letters, signed by Acting Secretary General of PASAN, Agugwe Ugochi Happiness, argued that their decision to shut down legislative arms of government became imperative due to the governor's failure to implement the financial autonomy as provided in the Constitution. After submitting the letters, Happiness also told journalists that they had, since September 18th this year, issued the ultimatum and the governors ignored the ultimatum till it expired. It would be recalled that parliamentary workers had on several occasions embarked on a series of street protests to press home their demands. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has applauded the judgment of the London court awarding a landmark victory to the federal government of Nigeria. Tinubu, in a statement by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, said that the judgment proves conclusively that nation-states will no longer be held hostage by the economic conspiracies between the private firms and corrupt officials who conspired to extort and indebt the very nation they swear to defend and protect. Tinubu said Nigerians is appreciative of the tremendous efforts of the defense team and acknowledges the role of the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Office of the Attorney General in the process of defending Nigeria's interests in this case. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised the Nigerians business communities that crucial plans are being put in place to improve foreign exchange liquidity. He spoke on Monday at the opening of the 29th Nigerian Economic Summit, the NES, in Abuja, stressing that his administration will honor every legitimate contract with respect to the nation's foreign exchange obligations. Kende Amodu reports.
President Tinubu at the Nigerian Economic Summit is the Robin of like minds. The two parties here are speaking the same language. So it must be reassuring to the captains of industry gathered to hear the president say that government is not blind to the challenges being faced in the financial markets.
I can only allay these concerns by revealing that we have a good line of sight for the additional foreign exchange liquidity that is required to restore market confidence. And we are going to do that.
President Tinubu is confident that by working with the private sector, financing the $3 trillion national infrastructure stock can be achieved in 10 years and not in 300 years, while the construction of megacities in every geopolitical zone of the size and scale of Lagos can be achieved in 1 decade.
A $1 trillion economy is possible by year 2026. And a $3 trillion economy is also possible within this decade.
Also speaking on the side of government, Minister of Budget and National Planning is harping on better cooperation between government and the private sector, especially in the evolution of development plans.
We are a nation where in every financial year, at least 800 public budgets are presented, 774 in different local governments, 36 budgets in the state and FCT, as well as the federal government. So there is an irreducible minimum of policy linkage and coordination that is required in order for this to deliver the promises that Nigerians hope.
Nigeria's foremost private sector think tank and policy advocacy group is stressing the need for the transformation of the country's economy into one that is competitive, inclusive, and open, which will only be possible if leaders in both public and private sectors work together to achieve identified national values. The first step to take is to tackle the present challenges which may cripple the economy if not addressed.
The low access to and the increasing cost of FX, the high cost of inventory, of imported inputs and operations, coupled with the diversity of taxes, continue to erode business balance sheets with resultant contraction in production and in employment.
Government has introduced several measures to resuscitate the economy, including the 500 billion naira intervention to support small businesses and the agricultural sector. By January 2024, the new student loan program and consumer credit schemes will have come into effect. The question is, will these interventions go far enough? From the Federal Capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The federal government has received 108 Nigerian migrants stranded in Niger Republic. Now, this is contained in a statement by the Southwest Zonal Coordinator, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Alexander Oturu, on Tuesday in Abuja. The commission said the Nigerians include 32 males, 29 females, 44 children and 3 infants. The migrants were conveyed to the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency camp, where the NCFRMI, an international organization for migration, have a tripartite agreement to provide temporary shelter for the returnees before they are provided with onward transportation allowance to enable them to get to their final destinations. The returnee, he said, was facilitated by the Nigerian mission in Niamey and the IOM. In line with President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, the returnees will be integrated into various government programs, as well as the reintegration programs of the UN Migration Agency. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, has arrested 76 suspects over an alleged plan to contract same-sex marriage in Gombe State. Now, parading the suspects at the NSCDC headquarters in Gombe, the command's public relations officer, Buhari Saad, said they were arrested during a homosexual party in the state. Ibrahim Ismail brings us more.
These are the suspects arrested on the 21st of October by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps over alleged plans to contract a same-sex marriage in Gombe State. They were arrested at a homosexual party convened by the prime suspect, Bashir Sani, known as Bushirat Gombe.
In the command's drive and effort to stamp out all forms of crimes and criminalities in the state, including stamping out also bad elements in the society, the command have made arrest of 76 suspects who are suspected homosexuals in the state metro police. They were arrested at Dua Plaza along Bauchi Road, holding homosexuals' birthday. And in that birthday party, there is the intendment to hold a same-sex marriage in the state. So our men, acting on a tip-off, raided that place, and hence the result of having 76 suspects in our custody.
The 76 suspects include 59 males and 17 females, while the NSCDC's evidence indicated that the event was planned same-sex marriage. The alleged homosexual bride, Bushrat Gombe, gives different account. I met two boys in Kano, and they were not aware that I have a birthday party. After I returned to Gombe 2 weeks ago, I planned the event. No one is sponsoring me. This is all I know. 21 of the suspects have confessed to be homosexuals and lesbians. They are expected to be arraigned in court soon. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Men of the anti-cultism squad of Osun State Police Command have arrested 13 suspected cultists for alleged secret cult activities. Police said that the suspects were arrested for terrorizing innocent people and breach of the peace. Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
Upon the distress call by residents of Iresi town in Boluwaduro local government area of Osun State that some notorious hoodlums suspected to be members of unlawful society were terrorizing them, policemen from Otan Ayegbaju Divisional Police Headquarters stormed the location. The policemen called for reinforcement and men of the police anti-cultism team were deployed to the town from Osogbo, the state capital. The team eventually arrested 13 suspects at the scene.
I was at home when some vigilante came to bust my side. Then picked me outside and started asking me about those that had issue. And I was not there, I was not among those that fight, because they told me that some people came to the town and fight. So if I knew anybody among those that fight, and I said I was not around, I don't know people that fight.
Around 11 in the midnight, some people came to my room and back then take me out and asked me to tell them those people that want to fight, which I don't know anything about it, because I heard they went to fight. I don't know anybody, so I was a suspect.
So that night, all these security vigilante people by 2 a.m. just came inside looking for him, and they did not see him. That was why then, because all of us in the compound come out, they start beating me, and they start beating me that night, and they took me along that night and take me to police station that night, and that is how I ended up in this place.
Suddenly, I just saw a man that came to harass me. They asked me to kneel down. I was like, what happened? I came for my results. So, before I can notice anything, I just saw the anti-cultist motos that just came in, and they just banged me inside and told me that we are the cultists that they are looking for. And what I came for to school today is that I came for my result.
Police said the suspect will be arraigned in court after investigation and assured people of Iresi town of their safety.
The DPO Ayegbaju was informed and immediately informed the anti-cultism squad, and they went into action and they were arrested. All of them were arrested. 10 of these cultists were arrested, and they all confessed to have been members of the unlawful society, and they even confessed to many things, many criminal activities that they have engaged in.
Meanwhile, peace has been restored in Iresi town and residents are going about their lawful businesses unhindered. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Price of locally processed rice has dropped in Taraba State. Now, findings showed that a measure of local rice sold a few weeks ago at 1,700 naira is now sold at the rate of 800 naira and 1,100 naira. Areas where the price of rice, locally processed rice, dropped include the Kunini, Mutumdaya, Gamfetu, Lau, Garba, Chede, and Kungana. Similarly, price of paddy rice has also come down across the state. Daily Trust findings show that 100 kg bag of paddy rice sold previously at 37,000 naira has dropped to between 19,000 naira and 22,000 naira. Rice is cheaper in remote parts of the state than in grain markets located along major roads, the finding further reveals. Farmers interviewed attributed the drop in price of local rice to bumper harvests witnessed by rice farmers and absence of middlemen that buy paddy directly from farmers and process it. Yakuku Adamu said previously middlemen followed farmers to their farms to buy paddy rice during harvest. He, however, said there are no middlemen this term that usually follow farmers to their farms to buy paddy rice. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, family of Faiza Abdullahi demand justice. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you Parliamentary Workers Association threatened to shut down State Assembly over autonomy. And 108 stranded Nigerians return from Niger. Moving on to more stories, the management, staff and other stakeholders at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport, Owerri, have assured the public and users of the airport to their commitment and readiness to manage any emergency situation. The airport manager, Rejoice Ndudinachi, stated this while addressing newsmen shortly after the mock exercise on emergency management held at the airport. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise was there and now reports.
The Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport is one of the busiest airports in eastern Nigeria with both domestic and international flight operations. Considering its busy nature, the need for maximum and up-to-date safety architecture in a case of any eventualities cannot be overemphasized. The airport manager said the recent mock exercise of an emergency conducted shows that they are competent in that regard. She speaks on the response of the medical team, firefighters, police, Air Force and other stakeholders in the emergency management plan.
It's our normal program, it's a mock exercise. We just want to test our preparedness when there's an emergency. It's just a mock exercise. And we are telling everybody that it's safe to travel from here, and we pray there will be no emergency.
To test the readiness of personnel to respond to emergency, management had staged an emergency situation where the T-smoke was sighted around the airport with a danger alarm alert. Within few minutes, all respondents had arrived at the scene to arrest the situation. It turned out for many who rushed to the scene that it was a mock exercise which management embarked on to test everyone's level of preparedness.
The response was okay. We have reviewed the response time and everything, assisting agencies, our resources, we reviewed everything. And from the assessment, I think we did well.
Though the mock exercise recorded huge success following the prompt response, the stakeholders further interacted to identify possible lapses with a view to correct them. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
The family of Faiz Abdullahi, who was allegedly tortured to death while in custody of the police in Kawo area of Kaduna, is still demanding justice over the death of their child. The mother of the victim says that months after the incident, the family is still devastated due to shock and trauma. Trust TV's Bello Musa visited the residents of the deceased at Goberawa community of Hayambanki, Kaduna, and sent in this report.
This has been her reaction for months whenever she remembers her son Faiz Abdullahi, who was allegedly tortured to death while in police custody in Kaduna.
His death is still fresh in my mind. I am traumatized and unable to sleep because I am still living in pain.
Justice for her son Faiz Abdullahi is what she is demanding, saying the authorities concerned have to do something to ensure that justice is served.
I am appealing to the government as my last hope to help and ensure justice is served in the death of my son.
Despite the frustration the family is facing while pursuing the case for months, Faiz's brothers say quitting is not an option. We are beginning to lose hope because we don't know if the police can fish out the suspect and ensure that they are punished. We even went to Abuja and yet nothing has been done. We will not relent because we are still pushing for justice for our brother, and we want the authorities concerned to ensure justice is served. Mukhtar Muhammad is a human rights activist. He says despite the petition by the family regarding Faiz's death, they are yet to get tangible feedback from the police in Kaduna.
We used to visit the police headquarters in order to ascertain the cause of the investigation by the police. So as I'm telling you, we didn't get the fact from them. So that led us to write another petition to Inspector General of Police in order to transfer the case from Kaduna Command to Abuja to make sure that justice is served.
The Public Relations Officer of the Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansur Hassan, while reacting via phone said a committee has been set up to investigate the matter, adding that the affected DPO has been suspended while investigation is still ongoing. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The National Orientation Agency has assured Nigerians of its commitment to ensure that the government plays its role in the drive to rekindle the spirit of patriotism among Nigerians. Now, the newly appointed Director General of the agency, Lanre Isa Onilu, gave the assurance when he received the handover notes from the outgoing DG, Garba Abari, at the agency's headquarters in Abuja.
I'm not completely oblivion of the challenges here. And I also, in the last few days, I've seen the tremendous work that you people have been doing. I'm not coming to clean up anything because what I am seeing and have seen is about continuity and improvement wherever we need to improve. As long as we are asking the country, the people, the citizens to be patriotic, the country also must justify it, must put the conditions in place for people to love the country. And so our job will not just be mobilizing Nigerians, convincing them, persuading them to love the country. Our job also includes the leaders, for them to do things that will make people to naturally feel connected, emotionally connected to the country. It flows naturally. You cannot enforce patriotism. You have to nurture it. We need to be conscious of the fact that this country needs a code of conduct. And we must understand exactly who we are supposed to be as Nigerians.
From the international scene, Israel escalated its bombardment of targets in the Gaza Strip on Tuesday ahead of an expected ground invasion against Hamas militants that the U.S. fears could spark a wider conflict in the region, including attacks on American troops. The stepped-up attacks and the rapidly rising death toll in Gaza came as Hamas released 2 elderly Israeli women who were among the hundreds of hostages it captured during its devastating October 7th attack on towns in southern Israel. The 2 freed hostages, 85-year-old Yushev Heath Stutz and 79-year-old Nurit Cooper were taken out of Gaza at the Rafah crossing into Egypt, where they were put into ambulances, according to footage shown on Egyptian TV. The women, also with their husbands, were snatched from their homes in the kibbutz of Nir Oz near the Gaza border. Their husbands, ages 83 and 84, were not released. Amid a flurry of diplomatic activity in Israel since the war started, French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Tel Aviv on Tuesday, meeting with the families of others held hostage in Gaza before heading to talk with top Israeli officials. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health in the Gaza Strip has warned that the electric generators in hospitals will cease functioning within the next 48 hours due to the fuel shortage amid intensified air raids by Israel on the besieged enclave. Ministry spokesperson Ashraf Al-Qudra said in a brief statement on Telegram early on Tuesday that the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza is slow and cannot change the reality on the ground. The Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza, Beit Lahia area, was shut down as it could not carry out vital facilities after running out of power on Monday. Meanwhile, a convoy of humanitarian aid trucks delivered water, food and medicine to the Gaza Strip on Monday, the third since limited aid began flowing in on Saturday. The UN says fuel was not included and reserves will run out within 2 days. All right, let's take a look at sports news. The midfielder Esther Onyenezide, who impressed at last year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup finals in Costa Rica as Nigeria reached the quarterfinals, has been drafted to take the place of 2023 FIFA World Cup star Halimatu Ayinde in Nigeria's squad for the 2024 Women Olympic Football Tournament fixture against Ethiopia's senior national team. The delegation of home-based players, technical and backroom staff from Nigeria flew into Addis Ababa on Sunday for Wednesday's opening leg encounter at the Abebe Bekila Stadium. The foreign-based players have started arriving for the big match as well. The Super Falcons will host the second leg of the second-round fixture at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja, on October 31st, 2023. Midfielder Regina Otu, who missed the FIFA Women's World Cup finals in Australia and New Zealand in the summer, and defender Osinachi Ohale, who plays for Pachuca FC of Mexico, have been ruled out of the fixture. Christy Ucheibe of Portuguese club SL Benfica is also out of the encounter. The winner on aggregation will confront the winner of the fixture between Cameroon and Uganda. The indomitable Lionesses drew a bye while Uganda overpowered Rwanda 4-3 on aggregate. And with that, we wrap up news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms, and you can join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.